So again, my name is Jeff, and welcome to the Queen. If you didn't already know that, this is the original boat from the movie. She was built in 1912 in the city of Livingston, England, and she was built for the British East African Railway Company, and her name was the Livingston. And she was deployed to the Belgian Congo, which is just a tributary of the Nile River in the Congo, not the Congo itself. And she was basically a workboat. Europeans were trying to mobilize in that area, trying to build infrastructure for using the land and just trying to settle. And so they were trying to build the railway. And so this boat was used as a workhorse, just back and forth the river.
Like a river.
It was a river, but yeah, but it's a pretty wide river there. If you remember the movie, because it was filmed on location, it's a pretty wide movie, but it was just a perfect platform for bringing in supplies. So it had no other use other than that. And then in 1949, the director of the movie, his name was John Huston, he was an avid hunter, and he would spend his time in Africa hunting on safari. And he happened to be there when he was writing the screenplay for the book, for the African Queen. So he saw this boat work in the rivers. He thought that would be a great asset to the movie, so he asked the government to borrow it. They agreed. They slapped on the name African Queen, and it's never been anything but that since. So she was in the movie. We'll talk about that in a second. And then after the movie, she went right back into service. She had no other purpose. There was no market for movie memorabilia at the time, and there's no Planet Hollywoods to put this in and exalt it. So it was just put right back into work. And for several decades, in fact, they said that no one even knew that this was a famous boat that had been in a movie, except one person. It was a Congolese warlord that knew exactly what this boat was and what it represented as a symbol of the West, and at least on one occasion fired upon it. So she literally did take fire, at least at one point in her long life. So went back into service for a couple of decades. History kind of got lost in the 60s, and it was in 1968 that a man from San Francisco was traveling in Cairo, Egypt. He saw this boat sitting in the reeds just rotting away, and he bought it for $1. And he bought this boat and brought it to the U.S. And it was meant just really for personal use at the time. Still no need for a tour boat. But it was owned notably by a man by the name of Fess Parker, another American. You might remember his name. Exactly. He was the original from the Disney series. And he also probably just for a pleasure boat. Very short. But then it wasn't until Hal Bailey, he was an Oregon contractor, he saw the value in having this boat run as a tour boat and bring back the nostalgia of the movie. And so he bought the boat and brought it to northern Pacific Northwest to run the rivers up there. Very cold, short seasons, couldn't make a lot of money. So he decided to bring it to sunny North Florida. But as you all know, being from Central Florida, it can be pretty cold there even in the winter. So they, again, could not make the money for the amount of money it cost to operate the boat. So it kind of went to pasture, literally. And it was in 1982 that a man that used to own a lot of these hotels here in the area, his name was Jimi Hendrix, not the guitar player, but Jimi Hendrix. He was a big bogey fan. He tracked this boat down in Ocala, Florida, and he bought it for $65,000. And that's how it made its way to Key Largo, roundabout way. So she ran for a couple of decades. They started looking pretty bad. A lot of decay and rust. So it was sitting on blocks on US 1 for the longest time. I remember as a kid even coming down there and asking my dad what that was all about. And so a local couple, Lance and Suzanne Holmquist, they approached the owner. The owner's son asked if they could go into a partnership to rebuild the boat, bring it back to its glory, and then relaunch it. They agreed, and that's where we are today. So in 2012, just in time for its centennial anniversary, the boat was relaunched here in Key Largo, and we actually had kind of bogey loyalty because Bogart and Bacall's son Stevie, who's photographed in that picture there, was here for the festivities in the yellow shirt. So Stevie Bogart was in attendance to see his dad's his his dad's movie boats come back to life.